apple doesn't fall far from the tree.
East of the Rocky Mountains, north of New York town, this country boy is a singing when the sun goes down. He had all the answers about the way things ought to be. Some folks came to listen, some folks couldn't see that there's pain in his fingers, pain in his heart, trying to make a living, searching for a brand new start. Who needs somebody that don't buy everything, give everything he owns just for a chance to sing? He played all the honky-tonks, he played all the bars, he played all the one-night stands, trying to be a star. But when all the smoke cleared away, he stood there.
Yeehaw!
Welcome aboard.
Or whatever. You
Welcome
wanna
aboard
say.
to Keeping Country
Hey,
Strong.
how would Felix the cat say yeehaw?
Radio!
I hear you.
Yeehaw!
We have a special guest tonight, Don Oriolo of Felix the Cat Productions. Welcome aboard.
Thank you very
How-
much. Excuse me. Thank you very much. Good to be back.
I'm
on
glad
your
you
show.
came back, and we wanted to spend some time with you.
Do you believe I came back after that last week?
I know you're a pro.
I'm sure it was interesting since I wasn't here.
I want to see the guitar again. Heck with you. I want to see the
Yeah,
guitar.
right.
I like that guitar.
He didn't bring it back. I was trying to get it off him.
Yeah, that's
I
why
heard you say.
I gotta be careful what I bring here.
I heard.
He knows these hillbillies will be dicker and
Hill Williams, please.
yeah.
Did you hear him say that last week? That would look nice underneath my Christmas tree.
Yeah, right. Well, your Christmas tree would look nice under my guitar.
Okay. I'll cut her down tonight.
You have had some great success in the entertainment business for over 40 years, Carl.
I started when I was 3. Yeah, it's at least that.
And your father, Joe, is one of the founding members that started Felix the Cat.
That's correct. And also Casper the Ghost.
Casper the Ghost, too.
Casper the
really?
Ghost, yeah.
Wow.
Wow.
He was an animator, animated Popeye and Betty Boop and Gulliver's Travels and Mr. Bug.
Now,
Goes
did
to
you
Town.
do any other voices for them, or didn't you do the voice?
Felix, you've lost your brain. Where's Poindexter? I'm over here, Professor.
Now,
Yeah, no, I actually, it's really interesting. When my father was doing the series, I was like the music guy in the family, even though my sister was a great musician, so was my brother, God rest their souls. And so he had me run the recorder in the hallway of his studio. I'd set up a Magnacord 15 IPS recorder. I'd run the line for the microphone, which was, I think it was a 660 Electro Voice mic. And we had these headsets that looked like they were from World War I, you know, just all ripped and everything. And Jack Mercer, who did Popeye and a lot of voices, did all the Felix voices. So I'd set it up. My father would say, just make sure it's not in the red, and the volume. So I go, testing, you know. Then I'd call Jack Mercer in, and he'd go, okay, kid, roll it. I'd turn the tape recorder on, and he'd run through the whole script, do every voice, just like I was doing the voices. So I grew up in the business, you know, so it's pretty interesting.
Well, I never knew that one guy does voices. His brother does Popeye and stuff too. I can't think of his name. He's a famous voice guy from about 15 years ago. No,
Mel Blanc did.
Blanc.
Mel Blanc did all the Warner Brothers stuff.
when they were creating the voices, would everyone just be sitting around and whoever had the best sound, that would be put in?
They cast it.
Basically?
Yeah, a lot of people came in to cast for the voice. Remember this one guy, Dana, he did Deputy Dog, actually. Ooh, yeah, Muskie. He came in, and my brother was there at the casting. And my brother was always had a jacket and tie on. It was very, and he said, "Hello, Mr. Dana. My name is Joe Oriolo Jr." And he went, "Ah, that's too bad." They just voice people are very funny. But Jack Mercer got the job. June Foray tried out for it. June did Rocky and Bullwinkle.
These are all
Wow.
my
Yeah.
cartoons.
Yeah,
I wish I could still get them, see them.
yeah, they're around. Yeah,
Yeah,
Boomerang.
you gotta go
and
on the big other
Netflix
networks,
and
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
High-end cable channels.
Even the
Oh, you
the
don't have TV at all?
artwork was better
How you
than
gonna
the
watch
new
it?
cartoons. Like now, it looks like they put a dime on there and put dots for a mouth and not. Where the
You
other
know,
ones is
it's-
realistic, like
Yeah, I mean, well, there's the Disney style that everybody tried to emulate, and then the Hanna-Barbera style and the Fleischer style. So there were specific styles. Now it's whatever goes, and there's no there really is no norm. I mean, the kind of animation. I mean, I kind of like I like a lot of the stuff, even the wacky, drawn stuff that don't look like anything really.
well, South Park. That was like they put a quarter down, and draw circles.
But it
with their
works.
It works.
Oh yeah, it works. I'm
You
not
know what
saying
it
it
is?
don't
The
work.
writing. It's the writing and the voices.
Matt and Trey.
Matt and Trey, yeah, right. They're just so talented.
Well, look at it must be like hitting the lotto too. If something like The Simpsons, if you could get the voiceover actors and actresses on
Yeah.
The Simpsons have been the same ones probably
Yeah.
for 25 years.
Yeah, it's
There's a living right there. You don't have to do
It's a
anything
very
else,
good
right?
living.
I would think they're doing very
Very good
well.
living, yeah.
And no one they were probably walking down the street. You wouldn't know half of them
Yeah.
because you don't see them. You just hear them in their voice.
Marge I knew from Manhattan. She was, I think she's from Queens.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
From
forget
The
her
Simpsons?
now.
Well, Ernest Borgnine
She
did
had
one
a-
from
she had a heart- having a heart rough time.
SpongeBob.
He did
She was
SpongeBob.
on,
Yep. He did Mermaid Man. Yep.
Yep.
Mary Tyler Moore, yeah. Mary Tyler Moore,
also.
yeah.
And then she was getting
It's
bored
fun.
until she tried out for that voice.
And she got it.
Still to this day.
It's funny, Ernest Borgnine, who I met a few times, he starred in my favorite movie, The Poseidon Adventure. I met him out in California, and he said that most people knew him. This is before he passed away a few years ago. Most people remembered him. The younger generation remembered him as Mermaid Man from SpongeBob
I
SquarePants.
still watch that.
The younger kids, yeah. That's what they come up to him and say, "Yo, you're Mermaid Man," and I'm like, I didn't know what he was talking about. I had to turn around. I had to start watching a couple of the episodes just to see what he was talking about. And sure enough, he was Mermaid Man.
A lot
Not
of
in every
stars
one.
has
He was
done
in,
that.
he wasn't in every
Voices.
episode. He wasn't
Yeah.
one of the main guys, but
I would have loved
and the younger generation, that's how they knew him. And he said he
That
said he
younger
did very well.
generation, I gotta tell you.
Yeah, them troublemakers.
Well, kids.
It's
I mean,
amazing how sensitive they are to voices.
yeah.
It's
Well,
just
who isn't
amazing.
really? Think about it. The cartoons that you say that you like so much, you can identify the voices. That's why, as you were saying, Mel Blanc. I mean, they were so distinct. And Chuck Jones was one of the famous animators that did all the lot of the Looney Tunes stuff. Roadrunner.
I was thinking of Rich Little. That's who I was thinking of.
Well, Rich Little is a voice.
But
impersonator.
his brother was doing Popeye in that.
Right, Rich Big.
And they used to go out.
Okay.
They used to go out he would sit in the he would sit in the audience when he was doing his show, and he'd start doing all them voices to him.
Right. But I was trying to say that Chuck Jones used to tell the stories of when Mel Blanc was developing the voices and when they were developing characters. They were kind of mocking the studio guys who they didn't like. So, like, Daffy Duck speaks with a speech impediment, and as did one of the guys, what's that?
That was Mel Blanc.
Yeah, Mel Blanc, yeah.
Blanc.
Well, I mean, if you want to be fancy guy, you could say Blanc. You know Mel Blanc. You know Mel Blanc. You know. Mais oui, I'm looking for you, my little flower.
Now, what you might not know either, Banjo Ron's with us, by the way. I don't think you were properly introduced by myself.
Who
and
is he?
Carl.
Yeah.
Banjo Ron.
Oh, I just knew you as Ron Banjo. So now you're going with your last name first.
Bonjo.
Oh, Banjo.
Who doesn't play a banjo? He doesn't. You don't play
Yeah,
banjo.
he
You got a
does.
guitar now. The guitar now.
I can play banjo.
I know you can.
Ron's the only guy that plays the 2-string banjo.
Don did a lot of work with Sid and Marty Kraft as
Well, not a lot,
right?
but I wrote some of
Yeah.
the songs for one of the shows. I can't remember the name of the show.
In the 70s.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't.
Well, listen.
Captain Cool and the Kong. That was it.
Oh yeah, Cap. I remember. That's
Yeah.
crazy, right? I remember that.
Well, listen.
The whole world to be dancing. I think.
DV School, I sent you that message. That they'd like to have you come on their TV show. The school, the kids run the whole thing, and there's
Wow.
TVs. There's TVs in every room in the building, and
Are you
when
getting the back of my head when I talk to him?
no,
Yeah, sure. TV's in every building. I'll be there.
and the kids when they come into their homeroom in the morning, whoever they interview comes on the air.
Oh, wow.
It's very nice. I was on there once myself. It's,
That's cool.
Yeah,
They
tell
said,
him to
"Who's
speak to
that
his
old?"
manager.
They said, "Who's that old timer?"
Gotta give him your agent's number.
Now you also did something with Nightmare on Elm Street, right? That was a big
Yeah.
horror
What'd you do on that
series.
show?
Part 2.
I
Right?
gave, I supplied all the, what's called source music. So when you hear music coming out of a radio or background or stuff like that.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You don't even
Where
think
you're
about
so
that.
close to these businesses. Do you search them out, or do you
Well, I worked in the city and I
you worked in the city?
yeah,
Huh,
yeah.
cool.
Well, it's a
And yeah,
connection,
you
right?
search them out and you meet people, you know people, and then,
That was
you know, you
inherited
start having
from your
some notoriety, some success, whatever, and then people, you know,
come to search you out. You bet.
yeah.
Well, listen, we got
Keep notes,
we
and
got
maybe
a
5 years
couple.
later, somebody calls you and says we need music
Yeah,
for this or that,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Well, we got a couple videos. We're gonna play one of them.
Oh,
right now.
Which one are you gonna play?
Whatever one you want. We got 2 of them.
Okay, I'll give you a little lead up on this. I was in Lowe's. Did I tell you this story already? I was on here last night.
Maybe last week. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
It's a new
Benzee-
week. I wasn't here.
Benzee
He wasn't
there.
here, so I'll tell you, Benzee.
I
was
wanna
in.
hear it.
I was in line at Lowe's, and I started. There were kids in line, and I always go. Anyway, so the kids are laughing, and so I go, oh, I got an audience here. So they were playing some Christmas music over the speakers. So I started singing the Christmas song like a chicken, and like everybody was rolling. The parents, the kids, the cashier, and then they kicked me out. No, okay. So I figured, I got to do something with this. So I recorded a whole album of Christmas songs singing like a chicken, and then I did a video of one, which you're going to see right now.
All right.
Oh, you got
Roll
that on?
it.
All right, take it away.
You got that on?
There goes that chicken.
1, 2, 3, 4. 1
1
minute.
minute, they gotta
so
get
now we gotta go.
The chicken's got
She
to
was
get
only
ready.
the plumber's daughter, but she knew all the joints in town.
She's only farmer's daughter, but all the horse manure.
She was only the cattle rancher's daughter, but she had the biggest calves in town.
Good stuff.
I've watched it like
Access
5
to all
times.
those backdrops too?
It's just, oh yeah, it's in my studio.
Wow,
Yeah,
cool.
yeah.
There's a lot of property.
Green screen.
Green screen, yeah.
Yeah,
It used to be blue screen.
kind of aware how it's done.
It used to be chroma blue.
You still have to have the rights to the,
Yeah.
backdrop, what you put on.
Oh, that's a lot of stuff. It's just PD stuff.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Now, you were a music publishing exec for many years,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
One of the groups, one of the performers, you're a big fan of Meatloaf. How
Yeah.
did you get
I-
start working with him?
I kind of discovered him actually. You
Yeah.
know, he was.
That's
Wow.
wild. Huh?
I was working for Robert Stigwood at the time. We had Eric Clapton and Jesus Christ Superstar and the PGs, and I handled all their publishing. And then they asked me to go see a show called More Than You Deserve. It was in Joe Papp, Shakespeare in the Park, and Fred Gwynn was in it.
From the Munsters.
The Munsters, yeah.
He lived in Warwick.
Does he? Oh, he did.
Yeah, yeah. And this guy was singing. I'm going, wow, this guy's incredible, Marvin O'Day. And so I talked to him, and he goes, yeah, my name is Meatloaf. They call me Meatloaf. And so I got friendly with him, and I brought him up to Stigwood, and we signed him. And that was his first. He had one record out with a girl named Stony. And it was called Stony and Meatloaf, but I don't even know if it was released. But
And he was Meatloaf back then?
yeah, yeah.
I mean, that's because it's kind of a wacky name. Just to
Yeah,
be
he
calling
got-
yourself Meatloaf.
They used to call him that. He was from Texas. He played football.
Oh,
He was a big guy, and they called him Meat.
Okay.
Marvin O'Day.
Yeah. Marvin O'Day. Check it out, folks. I'm not a Wikipedia. I just an old guy
Well, look
trying
at
to
the-
remember
yeah,
stuff.
Look at the career he
Yeah,
had.
I got the back 40 to play out this afternoon. I got a busted ankle. Papina.
I mean, you got everything from disco, Funky Town, and Deja Vu. Donna Summer you worked with.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean-
I signed Funky Town. Yeah, signed the publisher, made the record deal for it.
And then, on another spectrum, country music publisher of the year.
Yeah, when I was running
Wow.
Chapel Intersong, and I had the whole U.S. So I was the head of the Nashville office also, and we were country music publishers of the year 2 years in a row.
Nice.
And Memphis Connections, Gladys Music.
Gladys Music was Elvis Presley's publishing company, and I ran that when I was at Chapel Intersong. We had that,
Oh,
the
Chapel.
administrative rights.
Chappell.
Correct. Yeah. Chapelle, you know, we
Chapelle.
speak of Chapelle when Miss Banjo, Mr. Banjo and Mr. Chapelle, they got together and they got a banjel.
Now,
Dan Johnson.
you put together an album with Gloria Gaynor as well.
I produced a lot of stuff with Gloria, yeah.
That you co-wrote and produced that went platinum in France
Yeah, very, yeah.
and top 10 in Italy and Spain.
Oh, you
Yeah.
rich then?
Huh? He's talking about the food that I eat, folks. You know, it's not a harmonica, it's a hop. I hope
You can
passed
get
the
Gloria
audition.
Gaynor to go platinum in France. That's something.
Yeah, that's,
I would think.
Oh, yeah.
I think Gloria
Right?
Gaynor was pretty
Yeah.
much worldwide.
Yeah.
Gloria,
Well,
I'll
this
tell
was
you,
Top shelf,
Was
man.
this
guys-
recent or this was?
it
going
was
back
about
a
10
few-
years ago.
Yeah, because
But-
you remember her from
10 years
you
ago?
remember her from the
Gloria's
disco
still
eras.
performing.
Yeah.
But she's still out there, man.
Gloria does like 200 gigs a year.
Yeah.
Oh, really? She's that
Yeah,
busy?
yeah, very busy.
Wow.
When she does I Will Survive, you know, every woman in the place gets up, they go like this to their man, even if they're happy, you know, and they take their shoes off and dance.
I just heard it on some.
Yeah, I saw her many years ago in Atlantic City. It was her and a couple other of the disco. I think it was might have been
Oh, don't
Donna
say
Summer.
Donna Summer.
Yeah. Well, I know Donna Summer was on the bill.
I was so
Her and
over
somebody
there.
else, I forget who.
That was crazy about Donna Summer.
Yeah, but I mean, that's wild, really. If you think about it. And Gloria Gaynor she's still out there performing. But how hard is it now in the record business trying to sell records? And
Well, there is no record
There's
business
nothing-
anymore, really. Which is why every artist from the 60s on go out on tour, the record companies have what they call 360 deals. They get a piece of their performing, the publishing, the merchandising, and the downloads. But that's why a lot of big artists, they give free downloads, because it's, you know, it's minuscule anyway. Like Spotify, a million plays is equivalent to like $25, you know.
Wow.
It's criminal.
Yeah.
But it all started with Napster, you know.
Yeah.
Free downloads of music, and they kind of
Well,
dropped the ball.
Been kind of tradition to, the artists don't get paid.
That's true.
It's-
It's always been the
You
case.
see a lot of these bands from the 70s and 80s are back out there. You know, they really never stopped touring, but they're really doing so many more dates now. Foreigner, Cheap Trick, Journey, bands like that. And they're continuously performing. They might have one original
Well, they
member.
basically have to.
Well,
But they're
no,
out, you know, because
They
they
don't
probably
have to, but, you know, if they want to continue making money,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's what I mean, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the way it goes now is they don't control their tour. It's like, there are companies, they're like insurance companies, that they guarantee them, like, let's say 80% of a sold out tour. They pay them up front. So if they make 100%, then they get the 20%. So that's, and it's all leveraging and,
Wow.
you know, I mean, Bon Jovi doesn't have to go out, but he goes out, and I wrote his first chart record, by the way,
Oh, really?
John Bon Jovi, yeah.
Which one?
Nice.
Well, I'll tell you the story. I was doing music for Miko. He had
remember
Star Wars hit, and, you know. So we were doing an album called Christmas in the Stars on RSO Records, Robert Stigwood's label. And so I wrote a song called R2D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And since it was a studio album, we were at the power station. There was no real artist per se. It was Miko, but singers, you know, didn't get credit. So I was going to sing it because I sang a lot of jingles and stuff like Coke-Ad's life, everybody wants little life, Coca-Cola, you and me, looking for some extra life. Anyway, that was me. Anyway, so, yeah, right. You had a Coke can?
Yeah, always Coca-Cola.
No, I'm kidding. That's not a Coke.
It is.
That's
Have a Coke
Diet.
and a smile.
Diet Coke-Ad's life. No.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm in the studio. This is a true story, by the way. It's the first time I've ever told this on TV. We are on TV, right? This isn't like a
Well,
joke,
as far
right?
as we
You're not
know.
kidding me.
We call it TV.
This is just a joke. We're just hanging out tonight.
Okay, so I'm there. So Lance Quinn, Tony Bon Jovi, Miko Minardo, who produced the first, who actually produced the first Bon Jovi stuff, were producing this song. And I had a cold. I was really sick. So we start the track, and I go, R2D2, we wish you a Merry Christmas. R2D2, we wish. And I look in, and I can read Lance's lips. And I still tell this story to Lance, and we laugh about it. And I could see him saying, "Man, Oriolo, blank," you know. And I said, I can see. I can read your lip. I said, John, why don't you? And John was in there sweeping. John was cousin with Tony, who owned the studio. And John I used to give him studio time, and
Oh,
we used to
really?
hang out at when I was at Chapel Intersong. So he goes, I go, yeah, come on in, you know. So John came in and sang R2D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas, which subsequently went on the chart. It hit the charts, to 40 or something. So fast forward, I'm at the airport in Newark, and this was like pre 9/11, so people could run onto a plane and they'd hold the door open for you, and they'd, come on, hurry up, you know. So we're waiting for a flight to come in from England, who was going to connect to the flight I was on to LA, and all of a sudden the plane arrives, and these kids come out, like rock and rolly kind of looking kids, you know. At the time it was like a not gothy, but, you know, very rock and roll, you know,
Right.
Cyndi Lauper kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And this girl sits next to me, and I said, are you in some kind of band or something? And she goes, we're in the Bon Jovi fan club. So I said, wow, really? So I'm reading my Star magazine, and I go, do you know the first chart record that John Bon Jovi ever had? Yeah, Runaway. I said, no way. It was called R2D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And I remember it was like, you know, the old sci-fi shows where the robot got the wrong information and they start going, and they blow up.
Started
She was
spazzing
like,
out.
you know, because she thought she knew everything about John Bon Jovi, right? So then, like, a couple weeks later, a friend of mine, I'm not dropping names, but Jerry Weintraub asked me if I could get John to call him to be in a movie that he was doing. So I called him in his flat in London. I go, John, this is Don Oriolo. He goes, what did you tell the president of my fan club about R2D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas? That's all they're asking me over here during my interviews. I want to pitch my, I said, be careful, I got 2,000 of those records in my basement. I'm going to sell them. So that's how that went. That was his first chart record.
And what a Christmas story.
Yeah, right. It was a Christmas song, yeah. So look it up on YouTube, folks. It's called R2D2, We Wish You a Merry Christmas. And you'll hear a 17-year-old John Bon Jovi singing. And he
Wow.
sounds
That's a
the same.
collectible now,
Yeah.
right? There's only a couple thousand.
Yeah,
out
where's
there,
his
right?
basement?
No,
We'll
there
get-
weren't that couple
no.
thousand. That was a joke. I said I had a
Oh,
couple
all right.
thousand.
Well,
in
we
my
want to go get him.
basement. Yeah. I don't have a couple thousand.
You go get him.
I think I got one. That'd look great under your tree, right? That
Yeah,
thousand.
with that guitar.
Certainly,
I-
copies.
Oh, he's doing his job again. Yeah, that would look good.
It's been bothering me.
Hey, we got all your books here. Why don't you show us some of these books?
Okay,
And
this
say
is-
a little bit about them.
This is put out by IDW, and it's Felix the Cat Paintings. I paint a lot of paintings, and there's a lot of paintings in here.
I know, as you go through them, you're going, I remember seeing that.
Oh, here's one. This is actually I just signed this one for Barry, the director. This is with Tony Curtis. It's a friend of mine. He was a
Darn.
he was a painter also. So
Feel
we
the shirt
released it.
that, um,
Yeah. Craig Yo. Let's see. This was a painting I did that was in a Starbucks in New York, in Manhattan. So they took my picture and put it in there.
Now, are these
Yeah, very
basically
cool.
the same ones? This isn't open.
This is
so-
on
That is so cool.
on Amazon and Barnes and Noble and all that stuff. And then this one, man, Jesus, Carl. I mean, I gotta open the book and
This will
everything.
be on eBay next week.
This is
You
funny.
autographed it for me.
That's what I'm afraid of.
Any downtime? I mean, it seems like you're so busy.
Not really. I
And
mean,
everything.
life is short. So it's like,
Interesting.
it just, and I don't sleep that much, so I paint all
That
night.
sounds familiar.
You too?
Yeah.
An insomniac, as we
Night.
say in
I
French.
usually wake up at midnight.
Okay, we're gonna have fire, ladies and gentlemen.
Sound effects.
Sounds like Ron. Sounds like Ron's truck coming down the road.
Yeah. All right, so this one, this actually, that's my dog Goo Goo. He's in the,
All right.
this is actually, was a very good friend of mine. We worked on The Wiz. I worked at 20th Century Fox and we published The Wiz. And anyway, Jeffrey Holder was a very dear friend of mine. He wrote the foreword. Die Coleman.
The
Remember the
Cola.
Oh, I remember him.
Oh,
Sure,
yeah.
from the
So
commercials.
Jeffrey wrote,
Cola nut.
yeah,
the
yeah.
Uncola, right?
What a great,
Yeah, yeah,
what a
went to
great
Uncle
man.
after that.
Yeah.
He passed away about a month ago.
Oh, sorry to hear that.
Yes, he was. Yeah, he played the witch doctor. And in his apartment in the village, he had the fake head of him from the. So you'd walk into his flat, and it was like half white, half black. It was, and that head was staring at you. But so with these paintings, I wrote